This is Mavic Air 2. You may have some questions, like,
So what's different?
well, let's start with the larger sensor. There's a lot more pixels, 48 megapixels to be exact, which means you can do this. And then shoot a hyperlapse in 8K. With Smart Photo, every shot is a masterpiece.
Yeah, but photos aren't really my thing.
Don't worry, we've got you covered. It also does 4K 60p video. You can also slow things down. Way-do. And yes, there's HDR video.
How's the flight time?
It's fantastic. You're looking at up to 34 minutes in the air, a new record for the Mavic series. We've added OcuSync 2.0, so you can fly longer and see clearer.
What if I'm not a great pilot?
That's where Focus Track comes in, so you can fly like a pro. Or just press a button. Here's the best part: automatic obstacle avoidance.
Okay, but what do I do with all these shots?
Here's an idea. Use the DJI Fly app to edit and share your moments with just a tap. So, what's different? A whole lot.
DJI continues to rule the air, and with each new announcement, they set the bar higher. And you know what? The DJI Mavic Air 2 is no exception. It has a few standout features like 4K video recording at 60 frames per second, a high-resolution 48 megapixel camera mode, and 34 minutes of flight time. Now, all this points to the ultimate drone. But is it? Well, let's find out. Technically, the Mavic Air 2 is slightly larger and heavier than its predecessor, but it's not a problem. You could still fold it for easy storage in a backpack. Meanwhile, the hard lines in its design gives it a more aggressive look, and it's a warranted change given the upgrades under the hood. Now, if you're worried about all the extra bulk slowing it down, don't be. It still reaches a top speed of 42.5 miles per hour, just like its predecessor. I personally like piloting it in normal mode, just because you get that balance of speed and responsiveness. You could switch it to sport mode for tighter controls, while tripod mode offers slower and smoother movements. It's also quieter than other drones I've flown, but I'm impressed more by its battery life. It's rated for 34 hours of flight time, which is the longest in the Mavic line. At the center of the Mavic Air 2 is a new 12 megapixel half-inch quad-Bayer CMOS sensor on a 3-axis gimbal. The sensor is larger than what's found in the Mavic Air and the Mavic Mini. Photographers will be especially happy to find a new 48 megapixel high-resolution mode because there's more detail and sharpness than its 12 megapixel snapshots, but dynamic range isn't as good. However, I'm able to recover some of the details in the shadows in post using an editor. It's good if you want to crop images, but I found the 12 megapixel snapshots perfect for social media posts. The DJI Mavic Air 2 is a beast when it comes to video. You have 4K 60 frames per second video capture, and that's at a bitrate of 120 megabits per second, so there is some room for flexibility to work on the footage later on in post. I also prefer shooting in the D-Cinelike profile. You get rich and sharp details with low contrast. There's also HDR video. It's a handy option when you want the best results without having to work on the footage later on. You get improved dynamic range, so highlights, for example, are toned down. The sky won't be blown out, and it will have better exposure to match the rest of the footage. Colors also receive a bump in saturation too. Now, the only issue is that noise is more prevalent in the shadows. Other notable improvements over its predecessor include 1080p slow motion at both 120 and 240 frames per second, as well as an 8K hyperlapse mode that essentially speeds up the footage into these bite-sized clips. And yes, you get all the cool shooting modes that DJI has perfected to give content creators professionally made video. The weakest part of the Mavic Air 2 is its low light performance, and that's kind of expected considering the sensor's size. I took it out right at dusk with the sun already below the horizon, and there's a definite increase in noise and details are muddier. Whether you're a first-time or casual flyer, there's no worry about flying the DJI Mavic Air 2 thanks to its advanced collision avoidance system. You have forward and backward obstacle sensors, just like in the Mavic Air, but DJI added downward-facing sensors as well. It works pretty good. It actually stopped the drone dead in its tracks from colliding with a tree, even when I had my thumb pushing forward on the controls. It's assuring that it's smart enough to avoid potential disasters. And finally, there's also AirSense technology that allows it to receive signals from other nearby aircraft and shows it on your phone screen. The controller for the Mavic Air 2 is a bit chunky, but I still found it comfortable to use. I like how the joysticks and cables are tucked away when you're not using them. However, the pull-out cradle can be a bit finicky, especially if you have a thicker case on your phone. The DJI Mavic Air 2 is an impressive drone that's fun, easy, and safe to fly. Whether you're new to the drone scene or you fly professionally, it has everything you'll need. It starts at $800, but I urge you to spend the extra money to pick up the Fly More combo at $988 because you're getting more value. You get a total of 3 batteries, a set of ND filters, extra propeller blades, and a carrying case. Those accessories more than make up the difference. see this here? Inside this bag is the new DJI Mavic Air 2, and I'm going to show you what's inside this packaging, specifically the Fly More combo and why it's a better deal versus the standard one. Alright, so I took everything out of the case, and this is what comes with the Fly More combo. But before I get into the details, let's talk about what comes with the standard version of the Mavic Air 2. So the standard version is $800 versus the $988 cost of the Fly More combo. So obviously there are three main components that come with the standard package. So for the $800, you're going to get the Mavic Air 2 itself, so this guy right here, with the battery that comes already preloaded. And lastly, you're gonna have the remote control, the controller to operate the drone. And you also get the usual stuff like the cables, the USB cables, the charger, the propellers, but that is all in the $800. All right, so I have everything laid out here, and you're probably wondering, what are you gonna get extra for the $988 cost of the Fly More combo? The first thing here is the batteries. You're gonna get 2 extra batteries. So in total, instead of 1, you're getting 3, and that's important because the Mavic Air 2 is the longest lasting out of the entire Mavic series. It now extends to 34 minutes on a single charge. So with 3 batteries, you're gonna get over an hour and a half of flying time. The second notable thing that comes with it is this pack of ND filters, and they go over the camera obviously, and this is very useful for bright situations. If you want to do long exposure with photography, or perhaps you want to shoot video but it's really bright out, or you're there in the middle of the day, you could use these ND filters to get a more natural look with your video, so the shutter speed's not shooting so high. Obviously, when you buy the drone, it does come with the battery charger here. So you connect one end to your outlet, the other to your battery, and that's it. But with the Fly More combo, it comes with the battery hub. And this is useful because overnight, you could just pop in all 3 batteries and you don't have to worry about swapping them to charge individually. You plug this end here to the charger, and that is it. There's also this little guy here. I didn't know what it was at first, but I realized what it was after I read the instructions. So basically, it is a battery bank. It connects to the batteries, so it converts the Mavic Air 2's battery into a power bank. USB ports right there. You can charge your smartphone or other devices. And the last thing you're getting with the Fly More combo are double the propellers. So in the event that you break them, at least you have an extra pair here, so you get double the amount. And finally, the last thing that it comes with is the carrying case. This is definitely useful. You saw how I took everything out of the packaging here onto the table. So it's just nice because you don't have to buy a separate backpack for it. You could stuff everything here, and I'm kind of surprised how compact this is. It could actually fit in a backpack, so not only your laptop, maybe your other camera gear, but now you could stuff this guy in there as well. Now I want to shift gears here for a moment and talk more about the drone itself and what makes it special in DJI's lineup. Right now, it has the longest flight time out of all the drones, 34 minutes like I said. The camera has been upgraded over its predecessor. It's a 1/2 inch 12 megapixel sensor. It has the ability to capture 48 megapixel shots in this new high resolution mode. And as far as video, it's pretty capable. You have 4K at 60 frames per second. So that's the best you're gonna get. It's at 120 megabits per second bit rate. So the quality should exceed anything else that DJI has put out with the Mavic series before. Here's the controller. I want to show you what it looks like. It's different from, let's say, the Mavic Mini, where you have the smartphone placed below the controller. This one is different because now you have the arm here that holds the smartphone in place. And what I like is the adapter itself, the USB cable that connects to your smartphone. It's tucked away inside this component right here, so it's pretty easy to access. And the other thing too is that, of course, you notice that the joysticks aren't on there. They're actually hidden right here. You take them off, so when you're ready to use them, you screw them on and you're ready to go. And those are just small things that make it even more compact, because now if you were to put this in a bag or something, this is going to be hitting on something else. Also, DJI is really proud to say that this is its smartest drone to date because it packs a lot of technologies and sensors to help it avoid obstacles and collision. You have obstacle avoidance sensors on the front, the back, and even below. And there are also some other technologies where it'll be able to detect nearby aircraft, whether it's a helicopter, airplane, or another drone, to notify you as you're piloting it. And that's pretty much it, guys. So for me, I think the Fly More combo is a better deal. Yes, you're gonna pay the extra money, but for the extra batteries, the propellers, the battery charging hub, the case itself, I think it's well worth spending the extra money. I'm gonna be testing it out more, see how it handles, but I'm gonna leave you with one clip here that I shot yesterday. This is the asteroid feature of the DJI Mavic Air 2, and you could expect that review soon, so check it out on digitaltrends.com.